Hi, this is the Blue Cobra. It's been a while. I've been out of town for the past couple of days, but now I'm back, and we will resume our regularly scheduled episodes starting this Monday, September 22nd. But there is a lot to talk about that I have not been able to talk about thanks to my absence. And I want to start off with the current polling data by Gallup, CNN, Rasmussen, and the New York Times. All of these polls show Obama has regained his lead. Now, first of all, last time I talked to you, that lead was non-existent. McCain still retained a small lead over Obama, but now Obama leads, according to Gallup, 50 to 44. That's a 6% opening, and that's pretty good. 50% of those polled. That's half, of course, which is a majority he has not seen since after his convention. McCain, on the other hand, has remained basically at 44% since this lead reopened, and that's where he was before the conventions, and that's where I'm guessing he'll stay. So that's really good news. We can celebrate that. That's good. But that leads us to another issue. The fact that those polled, what's their race? What are their racial prejudices? And that's what I want to talk about now, because I haven't really talked racism in any of my episodes in the past. So let's talk about racism. And it's really simple. All of us are racist, okay? No matter how much you don't want to admit it, no matter how liberal and open you think you are, you will have racial prejudices. You will look at people of other races and make assumptions. All of these things, which are bad in theory, but we cannot fight them because they are inherent, no matter how sick they are. And they are sick. These racial prejudices, these racial stereotypes are sick. They are diseases in our society, but the fact is they exist. Now, see, the question is it going to affect how people vote? And I'm afraid that might actually happen. See, I talked to a few of my friends today, because when I have to talk about politics, I usually do it to them when they least expect it at lunch. So I bought it up. I brought up the issue of race. All of them mentioned some kind of apprehension that their parents have had about Barack Obama. The thing I think is this age barrier. Older people have some prejudices more often than younger people. All of my younger friends have no problem with Barack Obama, and they're all for Barack Obama. They think it'd be great to finally get a black man in there, and it's not just because he's black, it's because he is the best candidate out there. They see through his skin color. It's great. But these older people, these grandparents, these baby boomers, they are all have some kind of prejudice no matter how much they deny it. It's just part of who they are. So usually that's not a big idea, that's not a big problem, because we all get along, we all coexist. We don't throw them right at each other. They just are pushed into the backs of our minds, but in the voting booth, they come to the forefront of our minds. They can be the biggest issue in our minds. And that's what I'm afraid could happen. I'm afraid it's going to be the Bradley effect. And Bradley effect, of course, refers to the black man who ran for Congress in California, and he was way ahead in the polls before the election day. Looked like he was going to win by a landslide, but then he lost by a hefty margin. And the fact of the matter is, some people are going to get into the voting booth. They're going to think, I don't know, do I want a black man in there? Is that too big a change? Is that really a change I can believe in? So let's hope that doesn't happen, because that could really happen, and I'm afraid it could happen. I'm afraid it could put a damper on Obama's presidency. And Politico, of course, put out this story today about how Democratic racism could cost the election, because a recent AP study shows that 6% of Democrats have some apprehension about voting for a black man. Now, you've heard me criticize polls. I don't personally believe in polls or studies that gullibly. But the fact of the matter is, this poll, if true, could really hurt us, because Kerry lost by a very slim margin in that 2004 election. And if this kind of margin of racist voters, no matter how small, it could really hurt Barack Obama. So cross your fingers, hope it's not that big a deal. Now let's talk John McCain, because John McCain is our guy. I am so glad he won the primary with the Republicans. We could not have a better Republican to fight, except for maybe Rudy Giuliani, mostly because that would have been funny. That would have been really fun to attack. But John McCain is just making it way too easy for me to do my job, and for the rest of the liberal talking heads to do their jobs. Like Keith Olbermann's been having a field day. The Young Turks, who I admire, they've been having field days. Because McCain has had the most gaffe-filled week ever. mostly because of acronyms. And he is greatly resembling Bob Dole now. He really is. Bob Dole, if you remember Bob Dole, he was the guy in 1996, of course, who had these old guy moments. He would mess up things, he would stumble, he seemed like a doddering old man, and that's what John McCain is looking like right now. He is messing up acronyms, he mixed up Spain with Latin America. A reporter in Spain asked him about meeting with the Prime Minister of Spain, who supported the Communist Party, which isn't that big a deal. But in any case, McCain went off on a tangent about how Latin America, he would meet with leaders that support freedom, he would not meet with leaders who oppose freedom in the Latin America region. And the fact of the matter is, John McCain, Spain is not in Latin America. I know they all have black hair and they all sound alike, but they are not from the same country, these people. And Spain is not part of Latin America. That was a huge flip-flop, because Spain was one of our biggest allies. Can you imagine if you were a member of Spanish Congress, or if you were the president of Spain and you heard a possible presidential candidate talking about how he would not meet with you on certain conditions, and talking tough about you? I mean, just a terrible move on foreign policy, which was supposedly one of John McCain's biggest credentials. And of course, he's been flip-flopping on regulation his whole career. He's been this huge deregulation guy. Just like all these Republicans who think regulation's the problem. The problem, people, is that there isn't enough regulation. That's what's been causing these huge issues on Wall Street. And now McCain, his whole career has been about continuing this deregulation. And this week, he suddenly flip-flopped and said he was for regulation. I don't know what's going on there. He's showing that he has no principles. He's going to do whatever helps him in the political climate. Just like Sarah Palin was a purely political pick, that's a tongue twister, to get women to vote for him. This is just a political flip-flop to seem knowledgeable on the economy. He basically mimicked Barack Obama's economic positions, which came out really strong this week. That's his economic positions. I accredit those to Obama's current lead in the polls. He bounced because he has the 6-point plan to help the economy. He foresaw these problems years ago. He brought them up. He's made bills to help the economy in the Senate. McCain has not. And he just is this economically a knowledgeable man, Barack Obama is. And John McCain has personally said that he does not understand the economy, and it's really starting to show. He really does not understand this economy. That's the episode for today. It was just a Saturday episode to make up for the episodes I've missed. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you Monday. God bless America.